What is going on, guys? Money Webby here, back again on Monday. Got a nice 8-game slate here tonight. I got it broken down for you with 6 of my favorite plays on the slate. My money 6. So before we get going, if you could drop a like in the video to show some support, that'd be greatly appreciated. And let's hop right into it. The first guy up is going to be Justin Verlander. I'm going to go with the safety of him. Really good upside against the Yankees lineup that I think is going to struggle a lot against them. They have a lot of free swinging batters. And it's going to be in Houston, a big part downgrade for the Yankees going from New York to Houston. And Verlander, in 70 plate appearances against them, has a 28.5% K rate, and they only have a 190 batting average against them in those 70 plate appearances. So some good BVP history against them. Really good strikeout ability here, and a good ballpark for pitching in Houston. And that big kind of part downgrade like I mentioned for them. So I think he's going to bounce back. He struggled last game in Texas, but back here in Houston has a huge upset like we saw against Tampa Bay. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my first guy. Then I'm going to go with Vince Velasquez at 8,400, getting a spot start here for the Phillies. He was the odd man out of the rotation. He was kind of like the last guy. He was supposed to be like fighting for the fifth spot, but he lost it. So coming in here, getting the spot start. I think he's going to come out here with something to prove to try to earn back that spot in the rotation. He wasn't bad last year, especially for DraftKings scoring. I mean, he had a 25% K rate, and he did have some really good upside games when he was kind of with his command. He can be a little bit wild, but going against the Nationals here, a team that has struck out a really good amount so far. It's definitely a small sample. I mean, it's only been around like 10 games so far, but they struck out 29% of the time versus right-handed pitchers so far this year. And also they're going to be without Trey Turner, one of their better batters that does have really good ability to get on base. And I feel like he could give Vince Velasquez some trouble because he doesn't really strike out that much. And he can get on base and steal. But without him in the lineup, and just kind of some below-average hitters in the lineup, especially towards the bottom half of the lineup, I think Vince Velasquez can really get it done and get some run support to get the win as well in this outing. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my second guy. Really good upside at his price tag, 8,400. And those are the two pitchers. And now for hitters. The hitters on this slate, honestly, a lot of them are kind of priced up due to some good situations, and we have a game in Coors Field. So a lot of expensive bats, but there is still some guys that have some really good power upside that can give us some good production. So Jay Bruce, first off, not hitting too well for average, but his power has been crazy to start the year. He has a 46% hard hit rate and a 421 ISO so far on the season. He did struggle a lot last year with the Mets, but if you look at the rest of his seasons as a pro, that was kind of a fluky season, I would say. He's been typically a guy that has really good pop. Just didn't have it last year. He was kind of dealing with some injuries, so maybe he wasn't 100% healthy when he was playing. But this is a good spot for him. Perfect matchup going against a guy in Homer Bailey that surrenders a ton of home runs. He allowed 2.2 home runs per 9 to left-handed batters last year, and he doesn't really strike out that many batters. Jay Bruce, that can be one thing that kind of holds him back is striking out. Obviously, if he strikes out, he can't get the power on the bat or on the ball. I mean, he can't kind of get that nice pop. But a 4,200 here, I think he has really good upside for a possible home run. Again, here in this matchup, Seattle is projected a good amount of runs. So 4,200, like him a lot. I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my first hitter. Then I'm going to go with Gene Segura here at 4,200, going against Anibal Sanchez as a possible spot where Gene Segura can get 5 at-bats and also has a good chance of getting a stolen base here going against Anibal Sanchez, a guy that has surrendered decent amount of stolen bases in his career. And Segura, good speed, 20 stolen bases last year. So the Phillies, that is a good spot, especially with Segura, like in that 2-hole. He can, like I said, get up to 5 at-bats because they're implied 5.1 runs. So that's the case. If they're scoring a good amount of runs against Anibal Sanchez, they can definitely get Segura in some RBI situations, some situations where he gets on base and he gets driven in for some drafting points. Like him a good amount. I feel like he's a good value compared to some other batters at 4,200. So I'm going to lock him in there as my second hitter. For my third guy, I'm going to go with Joc Pedersen at 4,200. Always a good bet against right-handed pitchers to show off some power in that leadoff spot. So really good ability. Like I always mentioned, the Dodgers have huge upside. They can score against anyone. And in this spot here against St. Louis and Mikolas, a guy that has struggled a good amount so far to begin the year. He kind of had a fluky good year last year, I would say. Like his analytic numbers kind of showed regression of like a big drop in his production. I think it's happening so far this year and will continue throughout the year. So, I mean, Mikolas has allowed a 582 WOBA versus lefties already, and Pedersen in the leadoff spot definitely has the power to hit a double or a home run at 295 ISO versus righties in 2018. Another guy that could get up to 5 at-bats if he kind of gets those extra opportunities in the leadoff spot. And obviously, if they don't put in a lefty against him, which would suck. But at 4,200, really like his upside. I'm going to lock him in there as my third hitter. For my final guy, we're going to go with Ryan O'Hearn at 3,900. Another really good power upside guy against a right-handed pitcher, and Felix Hernandez, a guy that doesn't have good K ability. That kind of holds back Ryan O'Hearn, and he allowed a good amount of home runs to left-handed batters last year. So Ryan O'Hearn, good power upside. Felix Hernandez outside of Seattle was really bad last year. He had a 6.97 ERA on the road. He's always been kind of notorious for being very good in Seattle, but obviously not in his prime anymore. He has been pretty bad the last few years, and outside of Seattle, we saw how bad he was last year. So Ryan O'Hearn, 3,900, had an extremely good power against right-handed pitchers last year and has that good upside and ability against Felix Hernandez tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my final guy. So you got Justin Verlander, Vince Velasquez, Ryan O'Hearn, Gene Segura, Jay Bruce, and Joc Pedersen. Some cheap bats that have that home run ability, and Segura has that stolen base ability. So all you're looking for in the upside categories and the K ability with Verlander and Velasquez. So I hope you enjoyed it. Slap a like if you did. Would really appreciate that. If you aren't subscribed yet to the channel, make sure you do so. You don't want to miss out on these MLB DraftKings plays. I put a good amount of research in. Feel like I know what I'm talking about. I mean, you don't have to play these guys, but just some kind of ideas for plays to round out your lineups if you're missing like one guy or something like that. But good luck here tonight. Hope you win some money, and we'll see you back here again next time.